Hello everyone. Today we're going to do a little lesson about movement. Movement is a principle of design which helps make up various types of art. So movement in an art piece can create the illusion of action. So I'm going to show you a few examples of that today. So basically on this one, the artist has used active lines to create a sense of movement with the girl's hair. So all of the lines that come across the hair kind of make it look like it's blowing in the breeze. So this would be one example of movement in artwork. Okay. Remember that movement in an art piece makes things look like they're in action. So on this piece, for example, with the tree, it looks like it's blowing in the wind. You'll notice that all of the branches are going off into this direction, like maybe the wind is blowing it over there. They're also curly and spirally, which also gives the illusion of movement. Another part about this piece is that you see the line strokes that come through to show the wind blowing and the leaves blowing. So just by using those line strokes, the artist was able to portray motion in this piece. This is one of my favorites. Starry Night has a ton of movement. If you look at the sky, you can see all the swirls and the swishes coming through the night sky. So it gives that illusion of the wind blowing or movement in the night sky. So here are a few other examples of movement too, and this is going to be one of your options for your lesson that you get to choose. So your option 1 for your lesson is to create a progressive piece that shows movement. By progressive piece, I mean showing repetition of the same image that changes slightly each time you draw it. So for example, on this piece, we have a runner. And I'm going to look at the blue line and pretend like the blue line is the original piece of the runner. Now, the movement is showed by slightly changing that image of the blue line and progressing it into different motions. So the red line has the head tilted forward. The arm is lifted up a little bit higher. The knee is up a little bit higher. Same thing with the orange one. On the orange one, the progressive detail changes slightly. The head is back a little bit farther. The orange arms are up a little bit higher than on the blue one. You can notice that the leg is in a different placement than the blue leg. So when you layer all of those, it looks like there's progression from the original image that changes slightly each time, and it gives the illusion of movement. Okay? Here are a few other examples of progressive movement. So this one is another image of a person. You can tell that the arm and the leg are lifting up and down by slightly changing the progression of the figure each time. This one is a good one that shows movement too. They did have the image of the person, and it does change slightly each time. The leg lifts up higher, the arm goes up higher. But the thing that makes this one really look like there's motion are the line strokes that come out of the person's body. And it kind of looks like the person is almost falling backwards. This one is an art piece created using wire. So this is a picture of a wire illustration where the artist bent the wire to create the form of a golfer. Now you're going to notice that the golfer progresses each time. His motion changes. The swing is up, the swing is low, it comes level with the ground, and then it comes up again until he finally completes his stroke and that golf club is up over his head. I like how this one, the medium was a little bit different. That's why I wanted to show you that you can create different art pieces, not just using colored pencil or paint, but like I said in this sample, the artist used wire and was still able to show motion and movement in that piece. And then here's another example. This one looks like the person's getting ready to do a back bend. So the person starts up taller, eventually goes down a little lower until they're finally complete into the back bend. Once again, there are some line strokes over here on the side that kind of show the illustration or the illusion of movement as well. So I gave you a few examples of progressive movement. That is option 1. You can do an assignment that progressively changes each time and shows movement. Or option 2 would be to create some sort of an illustration or image that shows movement, like the samples that I showed you at the beginning. This would be more of a free choice style piece as long as it has motion to it or movement, like the night sky or the wind in the trees or the wind in this lady's hair. So with this lesson, your topic is movement. You have a couple of choices, either progressive motion or movement, or to do a free choice that shows the principle of design called movement.